Welcome, welcome. All right, so this is Communication Man, aka Alexander. This is my first of hopefully many training video that I'm going to put out there for the world. I've created a lot of products. I've written over 14 communication books, and I've done various projects, got a master's degree. I'll probably create some bio video at a future point, but that's just a quick overview. But anyway, something really cool that I want to talk about, and it's really exciting, it's really interesting, and most of society doesn't even put it together, okay? So, one of the most important things you have to understand is when you are speaking with people, okay? So that's email, text, whatever it is, there's four different buckets of paint, okay, that are going to paint the picture for what's going on. All right, so I want to kind of put it in a simpler visual form. All right, so what do you think the first thing is that you have to think about when you're communicating with someone? Okay, what do you think it is? Is it something popping in your mind right now? All right, so the first thing is that's extremely critical that most people do, they just gloss over it, or they're not even conscious of it, is stress. Okay, so the world around us, okay, it's life stress. Okay, so whenever you're talking to someone, okay, there's already a million things going on in their head. Okay, so it could be physiological, maybe they're digesting some food that's kind of bothering them and they're not even aware of it, but they're just kind of feeling it like on a somewhat unconscious level, but it's still affecting their ability to reason and think and process. And maybe while you're talking to someone, they're putting away groceries. All right, so they're mentally already kind of distracted and they're thinking, okay, where does this go? Do I need to throw out this thing? And half their power of understanding is already like weak, okay, to just be able to understand you, right? And as well as you to be able to like, comprehend them because they're kind of half thinking about what they're saying. Maybe they're driving in a car, okay, and someone cut them off, and they talk kind of angry to you. Well, you know what, just fine. You make a decision. You make a choice. I'm pissed off. I'm tired of this. Okay, and you think you did something wrong when really they're letting out stress that they're worried because they almost got in a car accident like 2 seconds ago, and they didn't explain it to you because you're not there. You can't see it and you can't feel it, but inside you're getting like the repercussions of their negative energy or stressful energy, or even if it's good energy, okay, you can feel the after effect, okay, but you may not understand the cause of the effect. Okay, so life stress is like the first thing we got to think about when we're about to communicate with someone. Okay, what is their mental state, what's going on physiologically? Now obviously you don't know all that, but you need to think a little bit about. Okay, so if it's a woman, if it's her time of the month, okay, that could potentially affect it. If a guy is, just got out of the gym and he's worked out, some people have like a high, a nice positive energy, and some people don't. All right, some people are tired, they're exhausted, their whole day, their energy has like been spent. They've had a long day at work, and maybe yells or screams or something, and it's not really related to you. It's the life stress going on, and it's like too much. Okay, so anytime you talk to your children when they come home from school, what whirlwind of events just took place? You don't know. Okay, so that's the important thing. We have to think about the life stress, okay, that everyone's going on, facing, okay, because that's going to affect the next three things. Okay, so what do you think the next thing, that the number two, okay, in this equation? What's the next thing we have to think about when we're about to talk to someone or communicate to someone or text them, whether it's business, family, whatever? What do you think it is? Okay, it's words. All right, so okay, words get a lot more credit than they deserve. Words are great. They're very important, okay? But words are really their images or their feelings. That's all they are, okay? So as I'm talking to you, your brain is putting together some type of image or feeling from what I'm explaining to you, okay, with the life stress that's going around you. Okay, so maybe you're listening is distracted, maybe this is in the background, maybe you're kind of half listening to it, maybe you're completely concentrated on this. Okay, but the thing is, the life stress, whatever you're doing, is going to affect what's going on with you. Okay, so words are just a small portion of the equation. They're important, but they're a very small portion. Okay, what do you think the number three thing is? Okay, what's the number three? Number three is the tonality. Okay, so the tonality, it's really a second language. So if you only speak one language, say it's English, okay? Well, the truth is you're actually trilingual, okay? You actually speak not one, not two, but three languages simultaneously. And you have this gift, you have this ability. So if someone asks you, are you bilingual, you can say, actually, yes, I speak three languages, okay? So I speak, I speak with words, right? And I can also speak with tonality, and we'll get to the next language in a second. But the important thing is the tonality is extremely important, okay? Because it actually trumps words, okay? So I'm going to give you an example right now, and you put two and two together, okay? Say you ask me, hey, how you doing? And I go, I'm fine. Well, my tonality just lied, right? It just, well, actually, I should say my words just lied, okay? The tonality proved that my words are incorrect, okay? I'm not fine by that tonality, okay? Something's very wrong. I'm very upset or pissed off at something, right? So ask me the same question again and see how my tonality changes the definition of the words, okay? So, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. Okay, what did my tonality just say? Okay, it just changed the language of the word. Okay, it just changed the meaning of it. I said, well, I'm kind of okay. I'm going through something. Something's kind of bothering me, but I guess I'm okay. That's what I said with that I'm fine because the tonality translated it to something else, right? So ask me another question, the same question again, I mean, and see the answer. Okay, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. Okay, I just with that tonality, I expressed exasperation. So basically, like something else is going on, and you probably interrupted me, right? Maybe the life stress that I was talking about. Maybe I was thinking about something, and you just interrupted me. I was in the process of something. Okay, so what I'm getting at is you need to understand tonality trumps the words. Okay, so that's the big problem with all these online posts. Okay, and you see all these people on YouTube so full of hatred and Facebook. Well, they're trying to get the tonality across by acting vulgar or like extremely immature or super macho or just something insane, right? Because they don't know how to use their other ways to express that, whether it's emojicons or just doing a video through the words. Because the truth is, words they're hard to convey tonality and visual and life stress. Okay, so just the words alone, it's very difficult. So if you're a really talented writer, it's possible, but then you also need at least a somewhat educated reader, okay? Because they have to be able to think about what those words mean and put them together. So if they have a very limited vocabulary, half the words might gloss over them, or they might not really get the picture that you're trying to paint. Okay, so every time we communicate, every time we communicate, we are painting a picture and emotions in someone's mind. Okay, so you got to remember your words are paintbrushes. Your tonality is a paintbrush. Okay, the life stress that you let affect you is going to come out through your tonality, right? So what's the fourth thing that affects our words, okay, our transformation of information, our communication pattern? What's the fourth thing? Okay, you got it. It's body language. Okay, so I know some people go, oh, I've heard this before, and their brain turns off. Okay, it's a bad thing to do. Okay, because just because you heard something doesn't mean you comprehend it and you don't understand how it works together. Okay, there's think about how many people who lived for thousands of years without cell phones, without technology, because they walked by a piece of copper and just saw it as metal. It took some brave person, some smart person to think, what could we do with that to be able to make copper turn into electricity somehow, right? How do they convey that? And how do you make a voice transmit through invisible wires? Well, someone had to, put pieces together. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now, just trying to explain to you. We're never speaking one language. Okay, so if you say you speak English, that's not true. You speak English, you speak life stress, you speak words, you speak tonality, and you speak body language. So right away, you speak three languages at the same time, and everybody's influenced from life stress. So that's a huge combination we have to consider when we're communicating with people, okay? So body language, all right? So maybe the tonality sounds good, the words sound good, okay? But the face or the arms crossed don't match, okay? So someone can say, how you doing? And they can say, oh, I'm good. But if you look at their body language, their head's pointed at their shoes, they look dejected. Physically, they're kind of like passive. Okay, well, what they're saying is they're horrible. Okay, they're not good at all. Like their life has kind of kicked them in the nuts. Okay, they feel kind of sad and crummy, right? That's not good. Okay, so obviously their words, their tonality don't make sense, right? It's contradicting. So their body language trumps the tonality, trumps the words. Okay, so if you have to think about it in order, think tonality and body language are more important than words. Okay, and depending on the situation, the body language might trump the tonality, and the tonality might trump the body language. Because someone might have their arms crossed because they're ticked off and they're angry and they want to scream, or just because they ate a big meal and they're kind of feeling lethargic and they put their arms kind of over their belly. So you got to kind of pay attention a little bit, obviously, to the tonality to kind of catch on what's going on, right? So the important thing is once this all happens, it makes a big soup. Like you look in this picture, you got like all these different paints. Well, it's going to paint some kind of picture, right? Depending on how much is used, okay? And how much you're processing. So what's going to happen is your brain decodes all this information instantaneously. We're talking within seconds, okay? So this is why communication is so hard, even for people who are really good at it, okay? So this is all going on extremely fast. We're talking about nanosecond fast, right? Like within a split second, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine. And like this quick conversation is taking place, and we're trying to figure out first, what's this person's life stress? What's going on in their life? How are they feeling? Are they ticked off? You don't know if that's based on you, if that's based on something else going on with them. Then you're listening to their words, then the tone of their words, and then you're looking at them. You know, is their face kind of flustered? Do they look kind of like angry as they say it? Are they kind of like moving things around, kind of slamming boxes quick? Well, you have to decide really quick, right? This is why there's so much miscommunication in the world, because we're trying to decipher all this information, and sometimes we pick up on the cues, sometimes we don't, and sometimes we miss horribly wrong, right? So this is painting the whole mind, like the artist in you is painting this whole picture, right? So, you know, you're trying to think of everything they're saying inside your head, right? All that information that you just received paints it. Okay, so your mental guess processes back whatever your feedback's going to be. So you hear them say, okay, they're okay, fine, great. But you know, well, it doesn't sound like that's very convincing. Okay, so here's your response. Okay, well, okay, you had a good day? Question mark, right? Your tonality changed it to a question, right? You had a good day? Well, now you changed it to an accusation of the tonality. So the important thing is I don't want to go over every single thing. This is going to take too long, but I'm giving you a quick Cliff Notes version of kind of just like an overview of something to think about. Okay, this is important. You got to think about what's going on when you're talking to someone. Okay, so the sad thing is when you're texting someone without the emojis and stuff, you're really limited. Okay, just words. All right, you don't know what their life stress is because you can't see. Right, you don't know where they are, where they're working. Now you might have a guess, but a guess is still a guess, right? It can be extremely wrong, okay? And you can't see body language, right? So that's why emojis can help, right? Because you see the smiley face and you get the idea or something. But even they can be confusing because you don't know exactly what they're smiling about, right? When they say the words, you know, oh, hey, that's cool. I'm going to see you later on tonight. If they say it like that, it sounds passive. Like that sounds like they're generically happy to see you. You know, if they say, hey, that's cool. I'm excited to see you tonight. See, the way I just explained that with the tone of my voice told you that I'm excited, that I'm genuinely excited, okay? You might put a little smiley face, and they don't know if you're saying that like inauthentically or you're doing it just kind of like you do it all the time. So that's where tonality can help improve communication, okay? So a lot of times people say, well, you know, I just like to meet face to face. Well, there's a good reason for that because it makes more sense when you're painting that picture. Okay, so when you're just texting your picture, you're only getting two pink buckets, maybe one pink bucket. It's just words, right? Because you don't really know where their life stress is. So, and if there's no emojis, really, you have nothing to go off on. So just words alone is a very incomplete picture. Okay, it's going to be difficult to accurately decide kind of like what you think is going on in that person's mind, right, or their situation. Okay, so when you're communicating with people, especially if it's important things or special things, it's best to do it at least on the phone or in person. Okay, in person's even better because on the phone they can be super distracted depending on what's going on. So a rule of thumb is keep conversations short and to the point because whenever you're on distance, like with its text or on the phone or email, there's so much room for confusion and error because you're only using one of those four communication paint buckets. In essence, you're basically you're going to make it more difficult because you're going to have to ask and ask and ask and ask and ask and try to pull more information, and that's going to look kind of annoying or needy or like you're just demanding. And that can really tick someone off if they're busy and they don't have time for that because you don't see their life stress, right? You don't see the meetings they're in or the clothes they have to fold or all the little things they got to do, the laundry, whatever it is. You don't see that, okay? And unless they tell you. And even then, you don't really understand the whole gist of it. Maybe they're holding the baby in one hand or whatever it is, right? Like my point is the important things in your life, okay? Especially like love and stuff like that, you want to keep that light, okay? So but the important thing is try to do the good stuff in person, okay? Because when you're just texting, when you're just little brief phone calls, interactions, it's super easy to destroy a relationship. It's super easy to misunderstand people. Their life stress gets involved. You mistake their anger at something else or their body emotions or whatever, like their physical stress that's going on in their body, whether poor diet or not sleeping enough. And it's easy to like misunderstand that and think you did something wrong, and then you get defensive and you go, well, what's wrong with that, you know? And so a real quick story is I was driving in a car, okay, and someone gave me a call. All right, it was a friend. Friend said, hey, I want your help. Can you help me out? And I was distracted. I'm driving. I'm paying attention to the road. There's rush hour traffic. It's really hard to talk right now. The sun's hot. It's beating on my face. Even with the air conditioning on, I'm like uncomfortable. I got that like the air conditioning's too cold and it's too hot outside. So it's just like that awkward, terrible, weird feeling when you're driving and you're just stressed out with traffic. And I'm trying to get to work. And they're asking me a request, and I'm just like, I'm just really frustrated. And I'm like, look, I can't help you right now. I really got to go to work. Okay. And they're like, dude, what's your problem? And they just hung up. Okay. Now I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to have to call that person back. I'm going to have to explain the situation. Well, they're probably never going to want to listen to it. So basically, I had to wait till I could calm myself down, call back later when the sun was setting, and I could like talk comfortably when I wasn't in that state of chaos. Okay. So I call my friend back, and they're just pretty much like, well, whatever. That's their attitude, okay? So I finally explained to them, hey, no, I was just, you're really frustrated, really distracted. What's your request? I can actually listen now. And what they asked was super simple, and they asked me earlier, but my brain was kind of too distracted to really understand it. I was just kind of like, what? I was kind of confused. And the simple request was just opening the door for their dog after like 10 o'clock or something because they had to like work, and it was just a weird situation. Normally their spouse did it, but their spouse was out of town, and it wasn't really a big deal. It was on my way home from work, and it was such an easy thing. And I was like, yeah, of course I'll do it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, and another problem is they took forever to like get the request out. They were explaining their spouse was on vacation, but just really confusing me while I was in a state of like turmoil, basically. And they didn't know all that when they called me. I just answered it kind of fast, right? Because it was an unusual call. I don't really get a call from that friend very often. So anyway, that's a quick story, but I'm explaining because this happens every day, okay? All the time with kids, with people, with friends, family, coworkers. So think about these four things that are going on simultaneously every time you talk. And if you don't have, the more things you're missing, the more chance for failed communication, okay, and pissed off emotions and hatred and anger, because it's so easy to get upset when you have all this life stress in your life. Okay, so everybody has life stress. I mean, this whole world is just moving at the speed of light, right? And we got all these things going on simultaneously. If you're trying to get somewhere with your life, trying to build your career, trying to take care of your kids, give them a better life. I mean, all that stuff stresses you out, right? Even if you're doing it well, it's still like, it's a lot of things. That's why I put a picture of a storm, okay? So remember, we want to think about what are the four things again, just review, okay? Life stress, right? The mental state, what's going on with that person, their lack of sleep or the amount of sleep they have, the food they have, like all the things going on, financial stress, whatever problems or even good things that are going on in their life, it's still there, right? Number two, words, okay? Words are very important, but they're a small part of the equation because number three, tonality trumps words. Tonality proves what the words actually mean, correct? And then body language, number four, body language is the third language. Okay, so how many languages do we speak again? We speak in words, tonality, right? and body language. So we always speak 3 languages at the same time. So be careful. Don't just listen to one language words when the tonality is completely saying a different word, okay? Completely different meaning, okay? And the body language could contradict all of those, right? So let's remember that. Let's put that together and be loving to people, be forgiving to people, because this whole thing is hard, okay? This communication soup that we have, right? So maybe one day we'll have better technology and we can fix it. But in the meantime, this is where we stand in life, okay? We got these 4 things going on simultaneously, and it's important to recognize them so you can be more patient with people and also position your communication in a way that's more effective. So if it's more serious or something, don't be using just 1 or 2 of those. Put yourself in a situation where you can use all 4, meaning in person, or set up a time where you can talk to them and you listen and ask them what's going on in their life before you start demanding things. Try to understand what their life stress is, okay? All right, let's go. All right, time for some fun, some trivia, all right? This is interesting trivia, okay? So here, in the United States of America, okay, how many divorces do you think take place every day on average? Okay, how many divorces do you think it is? 10, 500, 1,000, a million? Okay, how many do you think? All right, so in the United States, there is approximately 1 divorce every 36 seconds. Right? Isn't that sad? So basically every minute, give or take a few seconds, there's about 2 divorces. Okay, so to put it in better perspective, that's about 2,400 divorces a day. Okay, it's sad. It's a lot. That's 16,800 divorces a week, and over 876,000 divorces a year, almost a million divorces. Okay, so the reason I put that question there is it's really sad because I think most divorces are because people just don't understand the 4 pillars of communication that I just talked about. Okay, they don't even understand what's going on, and there's so many people who love each other. They really do love each other, and they don't know how to get past their miscommunications. They don't know how to be patient with each other, don't know how to love each other, and they don't know how to understand each other. And they don't even know that they're speaking 3 languages at the same time, on top of you have to think about the life stress. Okay, so if people start understanding this is why I'm creating this video. I try to put a visual so it's like something people can see. People can start understanding this. I think we can cut that divorce number in half, okay? Hopefully less, right? Because, okay, there are going to be people who are mismatched, right? But even then, if they learned how to communicate before they got in a relationship, they could learn to just not be with that person and not create the heartache, okay? But I think there's a lot of people who actually are matched well together. They really love each other, but they don't know how to get past their communication black holes, right? Like their blind spots, okay? So we're gonna, I'll go over more videos and stuff like this to try to help people like see things better, okay, and also learn how to communicate better. But at least just by identifying this, you can start to understand what's going on in your relationship, okay? So when you get home from work and start talking to your spouse, if they're angry at something, figure out what's going on with their life stress, don't demand, don't start tasking, hey, did you do this, did you do that? What reality are you in? Okay, because their reality is totally different from yours. You got to figure out what their reality is and then step into it. Okay, don't expect them to come to your reality. You need to figure out where they are. Okay, so if you're positive, you can stay positive, but understand what's going on in what storm is going on in their life, because everybody has clouds and all this stuff moving around us emotionally. Okay, so, and like I said, the cool thing is the more you learn about like communication, the science of it, you're going to understand it's not just words, it's psychology. It's like the technology around us, how it's changing how we interact with each other, but it doesn't change like always for the better. Okay, sometimes it's like much worse. Okay, there's so many more chances for us to misunderstand each other and want to like fight. Okay, so being patient and getting through this mud, okay, of confusion is the best thing we can do. All right. Okay, you want to know something really cool I did? Basically, I set up a phone number and I have it where it just goes to the voicemail, right? And it's positive advice in 60 seconds, give or take. Okay, so what I do is I just, every now and then I get a little inspired and then I set up the voicemail, I change it, and I just give 60-second advice, like real quick. So you can call it from your phone anywhere, anywhere you are. And I don't know exactly how often I'm going to update it. But the cool thing is it's there, and then I just do it kind of when I feel inspired. So it's really cool. If a lot of people start, catching on to this, I'll most likely do it more often. But the cool thing is, it's I just thought it was a really cool idea. I used to be part of this leadership program when I was in the military. I was a broadcast journalist, and this we had this cool thing where you could like call in and get like some advice from one of the generals, the commanders, and it was just really good leadership advice. And I remember like this is a really cool thing. And then they when I moved on, I wasn't part of that anymore. But I remember I was like, man, I kind of wish I could just call that, and I was just driving and just wanted to be able to just kind of like hear some good advice sometimes. And it's kind of fun because you're not turning on a YouTube video, you're not doing anything like really difficult. You just call a number. So what I do is just save it on my contacts. So there's no sales pitch or anything weird like that. It's just literally just like a quick little advice thing. So it's fun, just like a positive advice for your day. So if you want, the number is it's area code 1. So if you live in America or United States, I should say, it's 1, and it's 530-686-5337. Again, that's 1-530-686-5337. And the cool thing about that is it's just fun. It's free. I'm putting it out there for anyone who wants it. So it's just like you can call. And the cool thing is, if you want to, if it helped you, if you liked it, if it's something positive, leave a message of encouragement. And if you don't like it, and if you're a troll or something, I'm just gonna block you. Okay. So this is just to help the people who help themselves, people are trying to just improve their life and make a positive impact on themselves internally, emotionally, and their family, their society, and the world in general. All right, love you guys, and hope this was helpful for you. This is Communication Man, aka Alexander, signing out.